And our very special guest now is Saeed Ghaffari. And, we've known each other for a while. And tell me, Saeed, if I'm pronouncing your last name discorrectly. So I think it looks pretty easy. But he is the founder of Money, Real Estate, and More. And by that, I mean, he is one of our best money men. So if you want to know what to do with your money, this is the man to call. He is fine. And again, he's going to tell you about himself, but he's into what to do with your money. He's into real estate, and he puts together um, what to do with real estate, the best way to actually make money, and to create a better legacy and create more wealth for yourself. So I can't imagine a more better person to be talking to, or for you guys out there to be listening to. So let's start with Saeed. Please go ahead and give us a little bit of your background information.
For sure. And good afternoon, and thank you for having me, Jay.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Believe me, I'm very, very happy you're here.
It's a mutual feeling. Thank you for having me. Anyway, just to tell you my background, I came to U.S. in 1979 as a high school kid, and ever since then, I have made it a home, and I have, got married, put a few businesses together. I'm raising three children, so I'm pretty much Americanized ever since 1980. So the very first year was a little bit rough, but the rest of it became smooth sailing.
Yeah, well, we hope so. And you're here to help smooth the sails out for listeners.
I certainly will try.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So go ahead and just, tell us. And before too long, we're going to give out all your contact information. But tell us, some of your best experiences and activities in real estate and how that connects with, with the money journey and the investing part of the whole picture.
For sure. When I came here after I finished high school, I attended Cal State Fullerton, and I got my bachelor's degree in engineering because I was always fascinated with science. But
Yeah.
once I graduated, for some reason, my fate was in real estate. I
Yeah, and I don't mean to interrupt because I do most, too often, but I also went to Cal State Fullerton in the year of 1968 was when I was spewing out. That was a long time ago, but I matriculated in science also,
yeah.
specifically biology and marine ecology, and look what happened to me. So, I completely understand.
Yeah. So yeah, I finished my degree in engineering, and then in 1987, December of '87, I was into the mortgage business. So ever since then, I've always been involved in real estate. For the first till 1993, I was a mortgage broker. In '93, I had my own radio show like yours, talking about real estate, and I raised a few $1 million, and I started an investment partnership. We flipped about 100 properties from 2010 to about 2015, 16. And around 2017, I came up with this vision to put together a social media platform, something similar to like Facebook, but with a focus in real estate. So I have this platform called Money, Real Estate, and More, with the website address of more and more money. I'm sorry, more and more network.com, in which real estate professionals are connected with real estate consumers at no cost to anyone.
And even I'm on there.
You're on it too, and I appreciate you being there. Yeah,
Well, I appreciate the chance, but go ahead.
yeah. You and many people like you. Right now, we have about 600 members. members, few professionals, realtors, lenders, attorneys, contractors. So it's a good resource for the consumers to go and connect with the professionals. And I also do podcasts every Wednesday. It goes out, it's released, and I promote the businesses that are listed on the platform at no cost to our members. That's our way of saying thank you to them for signing up.
Great. And these are resources that anybody listening to us or watching can use and should use. I've got another guy, Ron Siegel. I was on his show yesterday. But, one thing that I really like that he repeats is that every home should have a household board of directors. And what you have there is like an already put in place board of directors that people can jump on and use for reference. And you know what? They should be calling those people, they meaning homeowners, and anyone else listening should be calling other people on your network to interview them so that they know exactly who to call when the time comes. You want to be active, not reactive to something that happens.
Very true. Very true. Speaking of Ron Siegel, he's a good friend of mine as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've known him for a few years and we've talked business. He's actually a member on my platform as well, with quite a few of his associates. So yeah, it is definitely a good resource for individuals who are looking for professionals in the real estate and financial world. And if you want to know why I came up with this idea, it's because I truly believe that real estate is a resource, is a vehicle in which an ordinary person can achieve extraordinary financial success with it, like nothing else. Anything else you want to make money in, you got to have either a huge amount of capital, you got to have skills, you got to have intelligence, over average IQs. But with no disrespect to real estate professionals and investors, real estate is the easiest way to make money and retire off of.
Absolutely. And, I talk a lot about reverse mortgages, so that's a different thing. And what you're talking about includes all kinds of real estate, including the one your family is in, the one that's a part of your heart and your future, but it also includes those items and pieces of real estate. I just call them items here. They're vehicles for making lots of money. But you don't need to have a PhD. You need to have friends and you need to have contacts like Saeed right here.
Yeah.
So, these things are available to all of us. So if somebody were to, you know what? Let's just break right now and give you, Saeed, tell us again, websites, phone numbers, everything that people can get a hold of you by.
For sure. The website is moreandmorenetwork.com, all spelled out. And the phone number they can reach out to is 714-469-5529. And that is actually directed to my own cell phone. I'll pick it up if nobody else answers. And I'll be happy to direct you guys to the site. I have a slogan that I came up with on my homepage. And I said that success in business is not about what you know, is not about who you know, it's about what you know and who you know and applying it to your everyday life.
Yeah.
You got to have the knowledge, you got to have the connection, okay, and apply them to your everyday life. That's how you become successful, no matter what business you're in.
Right. Right.
I was tuning into your show before I came on the line, and I heard you saying that knowledge is power, which is very true, with a little bit of addition to it.
Okay, ready.
Applied knowledge is power.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely, and that should be a given, but you know what? It's not, is it?
We take the given for granted all the time, right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure that we stated applied knowledge is power. Knowledge by itself is like a book. Sitting on a shelf doesn't do you any good.
Right, right.
Apply that.
And to know more about like those items, we're just going to talk about property until you tell us more things that you and other investments you may be involved in. But if someone is looking for property for investment, uh, they need to call you, right?
Well, yes, I have about, as I mentioned, I have invested in more than 100 properties of my own, uh,
Mm-hmm.
different partnerships. I
Mm-hmm.
have invested in more than 20 non-performing mortgage notes. Um, and so I'm quite familiar with investment in single-family residential properties and
Yeah.
notes. And if
So
some,
when you say non-performing, they've been non-performing up to a certain time, which makes them a good discounted value, perhaps. And in the end, they do perform for you and the investors, correct?
correct, when I came in to fixing and flipping properties in 2010 and 15, our group bought quite a few properties in the foreclosure auctions. And I was always curious to see why the lenders can sell the properties at the price below what is owed on it. Then I
Yeah.
took some classes in education. I learned that these are discounted, sold to, other investors who are still making money by still selling it below the unpaid balance. It's a
Cool.
fascinating, world.
Right. I used to be involved in, secondary marketing when I had the larger company, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, discount is a big deal. And sometimes you have to sell loans at a big discount, and sometimes you buy them at a discount, and sometimes you even buy them at at more than face value for reasons of
Right.
of their own. So, and the other thing is, I don't think you need to be a millionaire or a billionaire to get into this, right? And you had mentioned also partnerships. So, if you could tell us a little bit more about how someone with that maybe isn't a millionaire that has a limited amount, not the whatever it is between you and that person, but can somebody become part of a partnership with you and maybe a partnership that you put together?
Right. When I started doing this, I came across a lot of investor wannabes. They wanted to be investors. They didn't know how to get started. And there, unfortunately, so much false advertising. People that are selling classes and education
Oh boy, yeah.
totally, totally overpriced and not necessarily delivering any value. I always tell people, do not pay for those prices. Do not pay those prices for those classes unless you know for sure there's value in it. And how you figure that out, go partner up with somebody who's done it ahead of you, who is honest, and then you can have only a piece of the pie, not the whole pie, until you learn the whole game, and then get into it on your own. And then a good from a mediocre trainer or a coach or a mentor.
Yeah, now even if you were a millionaire or a billionaire, it used to be a millionaire was a big deal, but uh, I would think it'd be safer if you were to perhaps have a smaller piece of a pie and own a piece of a lot of pies
Hmm.
than if you owned all of one or two pies.
Right, right. Obviously, there are pros and cons to it. Of course, if what you're suggesting, it's not like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was driving at.
In investment, there's always for errors, there's room for losing money. It's a given. So if you split your capital over a number of investments, then you're at least safer a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of people just don't know the investment business
Hmm.
as far as real estate. And it's worth so much to have someone involved with history and knowledge so that you know what you're doing, you don't go along the wrong path.
Right. Very true. Very true. So the whole purpose of me putting this platform together, money, real estate, and more, is to bring education, bring transparency, and bring connection to the right people. So people that are signing up on M&M, um, many of them, many of them, I do know them personally, and I've worked with them in some form or capacity as a co-investor, as a lender, as an agent. So if you're looking for somebody that you could work with or you can trust, always reach out to me, and I'll be happy to connect you with the right person based on your needs, in the area you're looking for, and all other factors.
Yeah, I like that M&M thing. All of a sudden, I was tasting M&M, so I would hope that you give out your cards stapled to the end of a little M&M package. I
Uh,
like the ones with the chocolate more than the nuts, and I do like nuts too. But just to let you know.
I like
But
him.
but so we now know that. Well, we think that everybody out there would like to get involved in real estate. And maybe now is the time, maybe now is not the time. And I mean, as far as values are concerned, we can talk about that quite a bit. And I know values are going up right now, they're continuing to go up. So, from that point of view, I think it's a great time. Now, some people will say, well, it could be a small bubble, not like what happened in '08, and maybe prices will drop a little bit or you be a correction. I still say that now is the time because what you're going to buy is going to be with a loan, and the interest rate on that loan is going to be a lot smaller now, and the carrying charges of that property until the prices gets to where you want it is still going to be lower now than it will be even if the price of the property goes down a little next year. Now is the time. That's my opinion anyway.
And I agree with you. From my own personal point of view, I also listened to a forecast by Chapman University not long ago, which is
Hmm.
saying about 5.1% increase in property values in California. And
Yeah.
the their reasoning, their logic behind it is, yes, the pandemic has a adverse effect. However, there are many industries, especially in the service industry, lending, real estate, insurance. All these service industries are benefiting from
Yeah.
the situation, and because of the fact that schools and most businesses are online, they have created a need for additional space in people's homes. So people are up in
That's so true.
homes. And that's
Yeah.
why they do not foresee a reduction in values in 2021.
No, there's so many forecasts are positive, and we have to not forget all the people who are suffering because of our current economic situations, which most of which is caused by the COVID situation. But all of these forecasts take that big negative into account. And even so, builders are building because why? Because they know that properties are going to sell and they're going to sell fast.
Right, right, very true. The properties, will not be going down in value. And another factor that will contribute to the growth of values is, as you mentioned earlier, lower interest rates.
Oh, I mean that's that's
Interest rates
that's
are
lower price. That translates. That's not just interest rates. That's the price.
correct. It is they're historically low, unprecedented to see rates in twos, and in some cases even below twos,
Yeah.
and that's pushing people's purchase power higher, and that's why everybody is rushing to buy. Give you an example: we bought a property. One of my investors, David Church, and we closed it early this month. We haven't even finished the rehab right now, and we have an offer on the table before
Wow.
the property is finished, and
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
unprecedented.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the house I'm sitting in right now because I too work from home quite a bit. We bought a couple of days. We bought 1983. Can you believe that? I've been stationary that long. I believe there were two loans on it. I assumed a loan at about 16% first, and wait a minute, the second trust deed was 19.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're too young to remember those days, but I'm
Not
still
that young.
in that I'm
Yeah.
still in that house with no payment at all because I have a reverse mortgage, but that's another story. But yeah, rates are, I mean, people think historic rates, yeah, they're down from 5 and 6. Now they're down from 19. So,
Right, right, right. It is. Can you imagine? It's 1/8. You know, the 16%, which
wow.
is, you know,
Wow.
that's 1/8 of
Now
that.
before we're getting down here. I told you this would go too fast.
Yep.
Is there anything else that, as far as the features on More and More or
Yeah,
M&Ms that you'd like to tell us about?
I'd be happy to cover it real quick. You know, the moreandmorenetwork.com has a few features other than the social media feature that you guys could befriend each other and follow one another, like Twitter or Facebook. We also have a business directory that you could list your business at no cost. We have a calendar of event that you could, put list your events if you have one on, Zoom or
Oh, good,
whatever,
great.
at no cost. And then,
And
of course,
people can look on there to find out things they may want to
correct,
attend or join.
correct, absolutely. And we also have a news feed that people could put their haves and wants on the news feed, and pick among them to talk about them on my forecast, my podcast. Excuse me. And my podcast right now is reaching about 11 countries and 18 states.
Wow, beautiful.
So if somebody has something to say, write it up on the news feed. I'll pick it up and I expand on it on the podcast, and I would give credit to the person who wrote it.
And you also have a newsletter, I believe, correct? I know you do.
That is correct. It goes out every Wednesday. As soon as we release the podcast, the newsletter goes out to about 8,000 people.
Uh-huh.
And all the blogs and all the podcasts, the content will be promoted. And the people that sign up and their businesses, we always promote 5 businesses on the newsletter too,
Wow, wow.
all for free.
I just want to really reiterate and drive home that if you're a millionaire, call this man. If you're not, if you just want to know, and I'm not, if you just want to learn something, call this man. If you do have a little bit of something you may want to invest, call this man. But you know what? Even if you don't right now, it's always better to call and talk to Saeed now so that you know what to look for and you don't go away thinking that you need money or whatever or more knowledge than he's going to be able to provide for you. So you need to call him now. And before we run out of time, and we are running out of time, go ahead and give all of those contact numbers, emails, everything, smoke signals, whatever you got.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's 714-469-5529. That number will be forwarded to my cell phone in case nobody answers. But the platform is moreandmorenetwork.com, all spelled out. And as Jay mentioned, if you call me, if you have any questions about any aspect of real estate, I'll be happy to connect you with the right people that are already part of my platform.
That's great. And you know, everybody should learn. You know, we talk about learning. Knowledge is power. You say it's applied power, right? But you know what? You can have nothing to apply unless you learn something.
That's right.
And that's why we have this show, and that's why we have such great guests as Saeed today. And I want to thank you so much because we got to sign off now.
Well,
Believe it or not, we got to sign off. And I really want to thank you so much for the knowledge. I look forward to the next time you're with us. I must confess, as Groucho once said, I was born at a very early age, but still, you know, you can call Saeed and make up for that lost time. Everybody out there,